All right, little solar energy update here. Um, as yeah, it is Sunday, and that's when I have kind of committed to posting these updates, just specifically on the solar energy, on what's coming through. And again, for me, when I work with solar energy, it's working with ancestor energy specifically. And again, there's layers of that, whether it's thinking about, those from my own family who've passed, who I still feel, strongly connected to them, or, whether it's further back ancestry that I never really knew, but, I feel the energies of them, and, in both of these cases, messages coming through, and then also in a wider way, when we're talking about working with the energy of deities, that's humanity's ancestry. That's people who've been important to where we are, our current evolution, and how we got here. And so energies come and go by what's important, who we're co-creating with right now. We're always co-creating. Something that's come through this past week, we're always channeling, all of us. Okay, don't get too attached to particular individuals because they channel so-and-so or so-and-so, and as if that's an exclusive thing. We all channel. We all have ancestry that we can tap into, that wants to, this isn't a creepy thing, that wants to live through us. It wants to offer us energy. That it's not even so much offer energy. It wants to reveal the energy that has been left to us, literally through the stuff of us, and what we come into contact with, and what we, pull into our bodies, into our energies. Okay, this isn't just a up in the clouds sort of thing, right? This is spiritual, but it's also very physical. The two are one. There's sometimes a dichotomy, and this is coming through again today. Sometimes this is a struggle. It's a constant struggle for all of us. There's this dichotomy where we can get pulled into a way of thinking and feeling and so on, regarding spiritual matters, where it's like, oh, I'm just gonna rise and rise and rise and leave the material behind. And it's both. We need both. We're here to be in the material. We are not leaving the 3D behind. Again, dimensionally, we have the zero, we have the primordial, we have the one that then knows itself. Then we have the two, the 2D, right? Okay, now we know each other. We've split. The one splits because it wants to know itself, and it really can't know itself unless it can look at itself, and it needs to be two. And that moves into the 3. When we get to the 3D, that's when we get spatiality. We get a wider difference. Where 3's company, 4 is a crowd. At 3 we have multiplicity, right? With the 4th dimension, we get the dimension of time. We get the dimension of, okay, there's a lot of us, but we're also not all here all at the same time, right? There's spatiality, where are we? There's time, when are we, right? These things are not being left behind, right? This human experience, they're not being left behind. They're being pulled upward into a higher awareness of them. We're being pulled upward into a higher awareness of them, but they're not being left behind or gotten rid of, and they're not bad, right? A spirituality that is, and there's a certain type of kind of Gnostic way of thinking, right? Where it's just to get into the light and then the physical just passes away. Well, no, the light is the physical. This physical stuff is the light itself, the energy of existence being pulled into a concrete form. That's not bad. Okay? So this has all been coming through. And again, when for my teaching, Sunday we look back. We look back because now we can see, right? The light is shining on what we just went through. That's why for me, Monday's the first day of the week. Sunday's the last day of the week. This is a different teaching. It's different on purpose because we need to reorient, right? And this is the orientation now that I'm being given, that I have been given through much of my life. And it comes down to, what do we need to do in order to work with different energies? What do we need to do in order to do better, to do things differently? See, we get pulled into this idea of the sacred as being once and for all and forever, when it's actually, no, we're co-creating now with the divine to say, what do we need now? What needs to be sacred now? How do we need to have sacred space? So again, Sunday, take it as the last day of the week, look back. Now we can see it, right? The sun is shining backward on it, and we can go, okay, this is what's been coming through. Another thing that's been coming through, and this goes right in with that, that dichotomy, right? The light and the light and the dark, the physical and the spiritual dichotomies, right? That we need to pass between. We need to go between, and then we transcend, and we understand a higher awareness, right? That these things are not two, they're actually one and the same, right? So this is important, and the thing coming along with that, and this has been specifically as I've been going through a thing, and I've been, okay, why am I going through this? Asking my ancestors, asking my guides, why am I going through this? I have an ailment, an ear infection that's going on, and it's quite bothersome, quite troublesome, and it's very much keeping me from being up here very much, right? If that makes sense, in terms of energy centers. Some of the work that I do typically spiritually, it's keeping me away from that, because there's so much physically going on in my head that's bothersome, and it's really opening up this, right? Like, oh, spend some time down here. This is an opportunity. This isn't a punishment. It's an opportunity to be down here more, to see with the eyes of the heart. Sometimes we get too much up here, and this is, again, we get so much emphasis on the third eye and opening the third eye, and this sense of ascension and going upward, because up is better and down is bad, and no. It's all one. It's one. It's unity, right? It's energy flowing. Now, all of which to say is sometimes, like I'm experiencing right now, maybe a particular center in our body, it's gonna hit, if you will. Like I'm currently being hit, because for me, my ears are extremely important. For me, the third eye and the ears are like this. They're like one one and the same thing, right? They're like together, okay? There's a whole center of energy here. And so now I'm being, sort of encouraged. Be like, no, think about this for a while. No, stop thinking with this. Start thinking with this for a bit. Feel how that's different. And it's revealing, reminding that, oh, this is different. This is a different energy. And that's important energy. It doesn't mean this is bad and this is the only good thing. It just means focus on this for a while. And that's coming through right now, is to focus in on the heart energies. And we have to be careful of this, because even as I say that, I am seeing other energies, other voices out there saying the same thing, but in some cases we can go too far, as if this is the only thing ever, and sit in this, I'm seeing some oh, I just only ever use, my heart and my gut, and if it feels bad, then it's bad, and that's not balanced. That's not balanced. We need all of it. We need all of it. Sometimes we feel something, but it's something we need to get through, and we need to understand it, right? There's more than one energy, and if we just get trapped in one, that's not good. That's when we get in trouble. We get out of balance. We make a mess of things in our lives because we're just sitting in one type of energy. We're viewing through just that one type of energy. That's why I really encourage on a daily basis to work through all your chakras, work through the whole thing. And I've talked about that in some previous videos, so if you see this and you want a little more on that, go back through. I'm sure you'll find a couple of times where, I've talked about that in more detail, because that was what was coming out at the time. Again, the messages I'm giving, it's just because this is what's coming out right now. I'm channeling. This is what I'm channeling. Another thing that came out this week was me just being more open about when I'm channeling in a certain way. There's a higher, but I actually like to think of it more as a wider version of me, a more aware version that has a wider view. And when that comes through, I don't know where the knowledge is coming from. It just is. And I call this Andaman. And sometimes Andaman is just speaking. Sometimes I know that's what's happening. And right now, that's coming through very, very strongly for me right now. Andaman is extremely excited right now about what's going on, and is encouraging us, even though and this is something else that's been coming through, is like, I may not be the only one, right? I'm actually hearing this, witnessing it, seeing it, people talking about, I have a head cold, or I had one, and different things like that coming through. And so if you're dealing with something like that, and maybe it's not your head, maybe it's another part of your body, I really encourage you to think not in the sense of just illness, and do take care of yourself, and get better. Do what you need to do, and also comes through, like, go see a doctor. Like, don't be a person who doesn't go see a doctor. We can do spiritual things to make ourselves better. We can do all kinds of home remedy type things, witchy type things. For me, witchy is not a bad term, okay? It's not. If you rather think of it as druidic or shamanic, think of it that way. More natural, quote-unquote, ways of doing things, less, manufactured, if you will. That's all good and fine and good, but don't wait. If you have an alarming thing going on in your body, don't wait to go see somebody who knows about things like anatomy, okay, who can actually tell you what's going on with your body in that kind of way and give you more information. They may not be able to heal you. That I have experienced directly, but it's information, and don't ignore it, and get the help you need, because sometimes you do need that help. I've experienced that too. It's both. Again, We need to get away. That's what Andaman saying. Okay, get to the point, Jared. The point is we got to get away from this. It's just way or that way. It's just all over the place. We've lived in a world that has gotten so polarizing. And that is something that we're trying to heal right now as a wider collective. That's what's coming through. And it's why Andaman's excited, because more and more people are becoming aware of this, that it's not just one or the other all the time. And when you get into one or the other thinking, you're very controllable. And it almost doesn't matter which one or the other you side with. You're being controlled, you're being pushed to pick a side. And then you're in a pigeonhole, right? Then you're in a place where you can be maneuvered, you can be poked and prodded, or forgotten and cornered and put away, and all kinds of things that we don't need, actually. What we need is active, energized people who can see things from a lot of different points of view. And then we can make the world that we want to make. And that's what's coming through right now. And that's why a lot of polarizing things are happening in the wider world stage right now. Because it's a test to see, okay, how many of us are able to see that it's not just one or the other here, that we don't need to take a side, say, in Israel, Gaza, right? That we can see that, there's multiple points of view here, and that we can see that, okay, what is even being fought about, and who are the interests involved? And, why, again, I keep bringing this up. Why do we have all kinds of money to drop bombs, but we don't have money to take care of people? That's a problem. That's a problem. Why are all kinds of problems being ignored and shoved aside? It's a problem. So we need to see that, right? When we see from a wider perspective, we can see that, it's not just one side or the other that's going to fix it, right? That's a way of keeping us controlled, inactivated, farming out our sovereignty to someone else to fix everything for us. When we need to do more, we need to get activated. We need to actually do things in life to make things better for ourselves and for everyone. When we start to get activated that way, we will start making a different world. And that's the whole point. So that's, I think, the main, Andaman's like, yep, that's pretty much it. So be in that energy of, okay, whenever you're, I gotta pick, no, how can I go between? How can I go between the two posts? The tarot, that's the Two of Wands, highly recommend. Just if you look it up on the internet. If you don't have a deck of tarot cards, look up the Two of Wands. Very often it kind of looks like a pathway in between, right? Go between, through the middle. That's what we're looking for right now. So, and then we can move, then we go to the next step, which is the Three of Wands, which kind of still has that two, but it has that single goal out in the distance a bit, right? It's a little more directed. That's what's being worked on right now. As we move through the Two of Wands energy, then we'll start to be able to get into the Three of Wands energy, where we can see a destination out there that we want to go to, and we work towards it. So anyway, I hope this is helpful, and that's pretty much it for now. Be in peace, be in love, sending all the light that you can stand your way right now.